Picture this. Two armies locked in a tense standoff. The Valley of Elah stretching between them like a silent, waiting stage. For 40 long days, the Israelites have been frozen in fear, their morale crumbling with each sunrise. And why? Because of one man, a giant of a man named Goliath. Every morning and every evening, he strides out from the Philistine camp, a walking mountain of bronze and iron. He's over 9 feet tall, his armor weighs more than most men, and his spear is like a weaver's beam. His voice, a deep, guttural roar, echoes across the valley, a challenge that makes the bravest Israelite soldiers tremble. "Why come out and line up for battle?" he bellows. "Choose a man and have him come down to me. If he is able to fight and defeat me, we will become your subjects. But if I overcome him and defeat him, you will become our subjects and serve us." Then he taunts them, mocking their army and their God. 40 days of this, and not a single Israelite dares to answer the call. The entire army is paralyzed by fear. Meanwhile, back in Bethlehem, a young shepherd named David is living a completely different life. He's the youngest of 8 sons, often overlooked, spending his days in the fields, tending his father's sheep. But don't mistake his youth for weakness. Out there in the quiet solitude of the pastures, David has faced his own giants. He's fought off lions and bears to protect his flock, not with an army at his back, but with his own hands, his sling, and his unwavering faith. He might be a shepherd boy, but he has the heart of a warrior, forged in the wild. One day, David's father, Jesse, calls him in from the fields. He hands him a sack of roasted grain and 10 loaves of bread. "Go to the camp," he says, "check on your 3 older brothers who are with King Saul's army, and bring back some assurance from them." So David leaves his sheep with another shepherd and sets off, a simple delivery boy, on a mission to the front lines. When David arrives, the scene is exactly as we pictured it. The Israelite army is in formation, shouting their war cry, but there's no real intention to fight. It's all for show. And just then, out comes Goliath, shouting his usual defiant insults. As soon as the Israelite soldiers see him, they scatter, running for their lives. Pure terror. David watches this, and he can't believe his eyes. He turns to the men nearby and asks, "What will be done for?" "The man who defeats this Philistine and removes this disgrace from Israel. Who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living God?" The soldiers tell him about the reward: the king's daughter in marriage, great wealth, and tax exemption for his family. But for David, it's not about the reward. It's about honor. It's about faith. His older brother Eliab overhears him and gets angry. "Why have you come down here?" He scolds, "You're just a conceited kid who wanted to see the battle." But David isn't deterred. He knows this is more than just a military standoff. It's a spiritual one. Word of David's bold questions quickly reaches King Saul. The king, desperate for any glimmer of hope, summons the young shepherd. When David stands before him, he says with stunning confidence, "Let no one lose heart on account of this Philistine. Your servant will go and fight him." Saul looks at him, this young man with no armor, no military training, and says, "You are not able to go out against this Philistine and fight him. You are only a young man, and he has been a warrior from his youth." It's a logical, reasonable response. But David's faith isn't based on logic. He shares his own battle stories. "Your servant has been keeping his father's sheep. When a lion or a bear came and carried off a sheep from the flock, I went after it, struck it, and rescued the sheep from its mouth. The Lord who rescued me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear will rescue me from the hand of this Philistine." David's confidence isn't in himself, but in his God, who has proven faithful time and time again. Seeing this unshakable faith, a spark of hope ignites in Saul. He finally agrees. "Go, and the Lord be with you." Saul then tries to equip David for a conventional fight. He puts his own tunic on him, a coat of armor, and a bronze helmet. But it's all wrong. David can barely move. It's heavy, unfamiliar, and it's not his. "I cannot go in these," he says, "because I am not used to them." So he takes them all off. Instead, he picks up his shepherd's staff and walks down to the stream. He carefully selects 5 smooth stones, placing them in the pouch of his shepherd's bag. With his trusty sling in his hand, he approaches the Philistine. Goliath sees this boy coming and can't believe the insult. He scoffs in utter contempt. "Am I a dog that you come at me with sticks?" he roars. He curses David by his gods and shouts, "Come here, and I'll give your flesh to the birds and the wild animals." The entire Philistine army probably laughs at the absurdity of it all. But David's response rings out, clear and powerful, cutting through the mockery. "You come against me with sword and spear and javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. This day the Lord will deliver you into my hands. And the whole world will know that there is a God in Israel. All those gathered here will know that it is not by sword or spear that the Lord saves. For the battle is the Lord's, and he will give all of you into our hands." And then it happens. Goliath moves forward, and David runs quickly to meet him. He reaches into his bag, takes out a stone, places it in his sling, and whips it around. The stone flies through the air, a tiny projectile against a giant target, but guided by something more than just skill. It strikes Goliath squarely on the forehead, sinking into his skull. The giant stumbles and falls face down on the ground. The battle is over in an instant. Silence, then chaos. David runs over to the fallen giant, his victory clear. When the Philistines see their champion is defeated, their courage shatters. They turn and run, with the once fearful Israelites now charging after them in a triumphant pursuit. A boy with a sling and 5 smooth stones changed everything. He didn't fight the giant on the giant's terms. He fought using his own unique strengths, backed by an unshakable faith. He showed everyone that day that the size of your opponent is nothing compared to the size of your God. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed this story, be sure to like and subscribe for more.